You're listening to Extra Innings, presented by Next Level Training Center on the Sports Objective. Join us every Sunday night on Facebook Live and our YouTube channel as we talk East Carolina baseball.
Welcome into Extra Innings, brought by Next Level Training Center in Greenville. We appreciate Trent and Gaynell Brett very, very much for their sponsorship of the show. Hey, Pirates looking pretty good this week. And with us right now, we have Bubba Rosenbaum from China Grove, North Carolina. How are you, sir?
I'm doing well, Dave. How are you?
Good, my friends. We have Scott Rogers with us, the play-by-play voice of the East Carolina Baseball Pirates. Scott, man, how are you?
Doing great, Dave. How about you, man?
Doing well. You know what? I was thinking about you, and I'm going to say this quickly, and then we'll move on because I know that you've got to prepare for tomorrow's game, and you have studying to do in college. I can't believe, Bubba, Scott, a sidebar thing here. Fun fact, I've almost been out, I've been out of college 20-some years, going on 26 years, something like that. And Scott reminded me how old I am in the green room. But Pirates, I tell you what, really proud of the Pirates. And I love this group, Scott. I think they've taken way too much criticism. As much as I love our fan base, appreciate the passion. But I think that once the season rolls on, it's a very long season. I think that everything is going to start to gel. I think you're starting to see bright spots already early on in this 2022 campaign.
Yeah, pretty much agree with you there. And, a lot of people still got to realize this is still a young team. You look at this lineup and there's still a lot of freshmen, sophomores in that lineup. And it's like you said, they've got to figure it out, and they're starting to do that and finding ways to win games. Obviously Sunday, game 2 on Sunday, I should say. Jacob Jenkins-Cowart coming up with that big solo shot late in the game to take the lead. Like you said, freshmen, young guys, they're finding their way into the lineup, and they're doing a great job once they get there.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And we'll certainly talk more about that St. Mary's series and Jacob Jenkins-Cowart and the week he had later on. But, to start off the week, Pirates made a road trip up to Southwest Virginia for a couple of games, one against Virginia Tech and then also on Wednesday against the Radford Highlanders. So we'll start off that game with the Hokies. Pirates really put the bat on the ball pretty well early on, but didn't have anything to show for it. And then after both teams were unable to capitalize on some opportunities early, the Pirates were really not able to get much of anything going for several innings against several quality lefties for the Hokies.
Yeah, Virginia Tech, very good baseball team. Very good. Definitely going to be a contender in the ACC this season. Also, very nice facility at Virginia Tech. I was very excited about making that trip specifically for that because I know that they did some remodeling a few years ago, but it is very nice up there in Blacksburg. But on the game, like you said, Bats had a tough time getting going. Same thing. Nick Logish didn't look bad on the mound, gave up a couple runs, but he just couldn't quite get the bats going in that game. And everybody has those games, and I think that was just one of them for the Pirates.
No doubt. I Scott, when you look at it, one of the things I want to tell Pirate Nation for people that don't know the names, they look at the schedule, and obviously Virginia Tech is, we know about football, and we know what their basketball team did Saturday night, but I don't think people realize how great Cliff Godwin is. And what I mean by that, one of the things he does that does so well is scheduling. I mean, they don't understand that if you schedule, names that, cupcakes, like they think, then our RPI would not even be worthy of maybe barely getting up to a regional. But when he's scheduling quality opponents, then all throughout the year, all season long, I think he said it too, this is the toughest schedule I've seen since he's been in Greenville. Maybe that's my opinion, but from top to bottom, from start to finish, I think this is by far the hardest schedule, and I hope Pirate Nation will appreciate that.
Yeah, and Coach Godwin even said that himself on Media Day this year. It's a very tough schedule. You look at St. Mary's this past weekend, they came in with 12 win or 10 wins, I think it was, whatever it was. Tomorrow, Old Dominion, I think they're 12-1 coming into that game. So playing, and the big thing, especially coming up the next week, Old Dominion, College of Charleston, and UNCW, 5 games on the road. Every single win you pick up out of those is going to be key, not only because it's a road win. And me and Coach O talked about that in the broadcast Sunday. A lot of people, get irritated talking about RPI this early, but it's important. It's important to talk about because it's really the most important thing when it comes to June.
No question about it, Scott, because again, we talk about, obviously you and I and Bubba and everybody listening and watching this show, whether it's live or archived, we want to go 56-0 for the return of the regular season and win every single game. We know that's not possible, but we obviously don't want to lose. But when you're losing to quality opponents and then you win a lot of games, then that says a lot for your program. It says a lot for the recruiting we have right now. When you have young guys that are making big contributions to this team. And, it's funny you said that, Scott. I was thinking about last week and I forgot until you said it. The fact about how young this team is. I mean, I haven't looked up and down the roster since preseason. I'd have to look at it again, but that's something that was eye-opening to me, how young the team is. But yet this is not a disastrous season, right? We're still doing very well.
Oh, absolutely. There's obviously a ton of baseball left in this season. And, going back a little bit to the RPI thing, you look at this team, like we said, a lot of baseball left, and you said losing to quality opponents. This team, the losses they have, other than Bryant on opening day with that blowout loss, this team has not lost really blowoutish this year. And that's one thing they battle in every single one of these games. Yesterday, with game 1 of that doubleheader down pretty big to St. Mary's, bottom of the ninth, they start working their way back in it, came up a run short. But that's the thing about this team is they never give up, and that's one great trait about this team.
And it says a lot about them. It tells you that they are coachable. I'll tell you why, because you always hear about how a team is reflected upon the head coach. I mean, who would actually go against Cliff Godwin, right? I mean, he is phenomenal. He knows how I feel about him, again, personally and professionally. And, that guy has so much grit. And I feel like between the coaches, it doesn't matter, people that are behind the scenes, I think the world of Malcolm Gray. I mean, you could think about all the people, Coach O, yourself. There's a lot of great people involved in the program, but that word grit is something that I think really describes this program.
Absolutely. Putting that into these guys, and those guys know it. Obviously, it starts from Coach Godwin installing it into these guys, but just to have that mentality and it will help them so much throughout the year. Not only help them right now, but it will help them when they get to June as well.
As far as that goes, I know that this we talk about the in-state rivals. That's one thing, Scott, that we talk about a lot on this show, the Sports Objective. Of course, this particular case, Extra Innings, is the quality of baseball in North Carolina. And, we don't have to travel. We are traveling outside the state. But, when you think the likes of coming up, when you have obviously Elon comes to mind, when you have NC State still on the schedule, Duke is on the schedule again, UNCW, there's so many schools I can rattle off. But that doesn't hurt that you're one of the best states in the country for baseball.
Oh, absolutely. And not just at the D1 level either. I mean, you look at Pitt Community College, a great program there. You look at Barton and Wilson, an outstanding program. Chowan, another great program in this state. And you look at this state too, obviously you have really good programs like East Carolina, North Carolina, NC State. And then you look at programs that as well, like Appalachian State. Schools like that, they might not be at the level that East Carolina and North Carolina is, but still really good programs. Me and Coach O talked about that a couple weeks ago, where there's never a bad baseball team in this state every year. And like you said, that says one thing about this state. I think one cool thing, though, that would be interesting to see is a North Carolina tournament almost. You get ECU, UNCW, Campbell, A lot of pretty much every D1 school in this state and get them together and play something, at the Mudcat Stadium or the Durham Bulls Stadium. That thing would be amazing to watch.
I'll tell you one thing, whoever puts that tournament together would make a ton of money because there's so many great schools in a short drive that they would definitely be well supported there. Talking about our program, right, Bubba?
Yeah, no doubt. And guys, I'd stepped away for a moment, but did you mention the Radford game yet?
No, I was waiting. We were getting ready to move on, but I was waiting on for you.
No, with that Radford game, obviously coming off the loss at Virginia Tech on Tuesday. Loved the way the Pirates jumped on the Highlanders, 2 runs in the top of the first, and then Radford responded right away with the run in the bottom, and then I think somewhere there around the middle innings tied it up. And so that was a game that was 2-2 there in the middle innings, and then the Pirates did what they needed to do to create a 7-2 advantage before holding on for the win. Merritt Beaker got his first start as a Pirate, went 3 innings, did walk 3, but overall not a bad start for Merritt. And then what about Dylan Danny Bill coming out of the pen and going 4 innings?
Yeah, like you said, Merritt didn't look bad at all on the mound for that being his first start. And, man, we're running out of things to say about Danny Bill. I mean, he has looked really good out of the pen this year. And really every Pirate pitcher has this year. That Pirate bullpen has been really stellar all season long. But, yeah, it was good to see them respond in that Radford game. And, boy, let me tell you what, Radford, that is an interesting ballpark for sure. I think I talked about it a little bit on the broadcast. There's so many just weird things to look at. Our bullpen was on the field, kind of like the old school way, but Radford's was off the field. Obviously, it was all turf. They had the cutouts around the base paths and home plate were a bright highlighter red that didn't match the rest of the clay-colored turf. And then I have never seen this at a ballpark before, but they did not have a batter's eye in center field, which I thought was very interesting, especially for a Division I school not having a batter's eye. But going back to the game, like I said, good to see them respond and get the win against Radford, especially that being a road win will help them RPI-wise.
Dave, very quickly, Johnny Robertson chimed in saying, in the first 12 games, the Pirates have given up 23 stolen bases and at least 1 in every game. In the last 4, there have only been 2. Is that something that they have been working on? Johnny, and I'll link this on our page, but I know in Cliff Godwin's post-game comments over the weekend, he actually addressed that. He was joking with one of the local reporters saying that he asked a very similar question to what you just posed, and Cliff said, yeah, we started working on that more in practice recently since you wrote that article. But he said, no, seriously. He said that Wilcoxon had been battling a sore arm, and Scott, you can touch on that more as well. And obviously the pitchers are always seeking to perfect pickoff moves and so forth. But I know Cliff specifically referenced Wilcox, and I think it was having the sore arm.
Yeah, that's actually the first time I've heard of that. I don't get a chance to really hear the post-game interviews a lot. But yes, it is one thing that I obviously would know without even really asking that they've been working on with Coach Godwin being a catcher in the past. And that's one thing with this East Carolina team that is really different about a lot of teams is they're so deep at that catcher's position where if one guy goes down, you've got 2 really good backups to go to and really pick either one of those guys to put in there, and they're going to do a great job.
What I was going to say, Scott, real quick, is the surprise has been for me this year. I thought that the bullpen would be bad, but I think that the bullpen has been surprisingly good. I really do. I think, by the way, we hadn't had a chance to talk about it, but certainly Carson Wisenhunt being out for the year, it was announced, I believe, yesterday. We found out. Sad for the program. Not surprised with the NCAA. We're not going to get into those. We don't have enough time with you tonight. Disappointed with that decision. I would just say that by the NCAA, and hope that is true. What he said is he'll be back next year. I just don't believe he'll be back, but I hope that's correct because we would love to have him back another year.
Yeah, it sucks what happened, but it is what it is. Carson admitted to it basically in that statement he said, but it's just disappointing. But like you said, would love to have Carson back next year, but do wish him well in the Major League Draft this year if he does declare.
And one more thing, as far as that's concerned, Dave, you would expect nothing less than what Cliff Godwin did. Having his players back. He in the post game when he was addressing the issue said, "Hey, we've all made mistakes. If some of the mistakes I've made came to light, then I probably wouldn't be the head coach at East Carolina right now." So props to Cliff Godwin for having Carson Wisenhunt's back, but not that that's any surprise. That's 100% what you would expect from a player's coach like Cliff Godwin.
Oh yeah, and I don't want to sound like I wasn't. I was just making a statement. I'm not anti.
Oh yeah, and that was purely more information. That was not in response to anything you said.
Yeah, I just want to let everybody know that I'm a huge Carson Wisenhunt fan. We got a chance to, Bubba and I, we've got a chance to know the family just a little bit. We got a chance to meet him in the regional, and kept bumping into him on the Saturday. I think it was at the regional. And they are great people. I like him a lot personally. I was making a comment more of a slight on the NCAA, not Carson. And we'll move on. And I know Scott is next man up. The good news is that Wisenhunt, not taking him for granted or lightly, but the good news is Pirates have more pitching than him.
Absolutely. We said about the bullpen, how well they've done. And there's so many guys in that bullpen that like Merritt Beaker, for example, Nick Logish, that if you need a start, you can call on those guys and they can give it to you.
So, Scott, moving on to the weekend, you had a 12-1 ball club come into Clark LeClaire Stadium out of the West Coast Conference. Obviously, when you think of baseball, college baseball specifically, you think of a different style of play out there. So St. Mary's coming in. I was very interested to see what this series would hold, and Pirates got the win on Friday. A solid start for Cooch.
Yeah, Cooch Maynard looked amazing on Friday. Really the old Cooch Maynard that we know he can be. But like you said, St. Mary's a very good team. Came into Greenville. Coming into that series, they had a team average of almost 350, and their ERA, I think, was 2.64 coming in to that series. So you knew they were going to be a good team. But definitely a team to watch out for in the postseason, I think. Nathan Chong, that guy, oh my goodness, he came in hitting like 560 on the year, and he certainly showed it against the Pirates. But Friday, they look really good. Sunday, game one. Tough time getting the bats going, but as we mentioned, this team never gives up. Got it within one run in the bottom of the ninth in that game and just couldn't push them across. And then game two, same thing, came back from behind, and Jacob Jenkins-Cowart knocking that solo homer in the bottom of the eighth to put him ahead was big.
I wanted to say that very thing, Scott. How about the very fact that we are with him, Jenkins-Cowart? He's more than it just seems like in my mind. I know deep down he's a freshman, but he's not playing like a freshman. He doesn't play scared. It's amazing how young he is. I remind myself almost game by game, the guy is only a freshman.
Yeah, he's, like you said, he's not playing like a freshman at all. He's got a lot of confidence. And I think one thing that makes JC so versatile out there is because of his athleticism. Playing right field like he did Sunday and at Radford shows that we can use him in so many different spots. And I think that's one thing that they're going to be doing to help him get in the lineup more often, just because he's hitting the ball so well right now.
No question. And with St. Mary's, I know with the second game, obviously we got a few more minutes with you. The Saturday game, like I was telling you beforehand, let me ask you a question, Scott. I know that it's not possible, but would you like to see the Pirates play in snow?
No. Look, being in Greenville Saturday, oh my goodness, that was the craziest weather day ever. It would have been miserable Saturday night at Clark Claire. I don't blame them one bit for playing a doubleheader Sunday.
Nor do I. It was my son. We had to take him to a basketball tournament in Gates County, and driving back, it was like snow. And I said, "Thank God we're not playing baseball today in Greenville," even though I wanted the game to listen to.
Yeah, it would have been miserable to play Saturday night.
Hey, speaking of miserable weather, not to get off on a tangent because we'll very quickly get back to talking about the conclusion of the St. Mary's series, but did either of you on social media see the weather that Louisville and Michigan were playing in?
Yes.
Where it was blowing snow?
Yeah, I have no idea how they even played through that. No idea.
And then it was pretty funny. Trying to remember the guy's name is Steven something that played at UVA last year. He has some pretty good tweets about college baseball, and he was talking about how players, for the most part, would want no part of that, and that Kendall Rogers from D1 Baseball responded saying, "Hey, just pretend that those white particles are Dippin' Dots."
Oh my goodness, I haven't seen that. Now I have to check that out. I missed out on a lot this past weekend. I was fortunate enough to listen to you and Coach O, Scott, and talking about the series as a whole with St. Mary's. Let's talk about the conclusion with a doubleheader. Get your thoughts on game one, and then we'll talk about game two. And I know we'll have to get out of here in a little, and we'll let you go in a couple minutes.
Yeah, game one, like I said, just a tough time getting the bats going. But as always, like I said, this team never gives up. Brought that game within one run in the bottom of the ninth, just couldn't quite push across that tying run. But and then game two, getting behind again, coming again from behind. But can't say enough about Garrett Saylor. For him to come in and pitch every single game of this series, especially Sunday, pitching in both of those games, I was shocked to see him come out of the pen for game two Sunday. But man, that dude is a competitor, and he deserves a whole lot of credit for what he did. And he definitely kept the Pirates in that game two Sunday, for them to win it.
And that very fact of Scott, as somebody I know that we have as a team sport and we pull for all our Pirates, but he's one of those players that I haven't met him personally. He seems like he's a really good guy, and he has a lot of talent. And it seems like, that he's really this year putting it together, and I'm so happy for him. Not that he hasn't had success, but I think that we all know that he has a great future ahead for him, and just great to see that it's coming now to fruition on the field.
Absolutely, he is a great guy. Getting to talk to him a couple times in the team hotels when we've been traveling early on this season. Garrett's a great guy to talk to, and like you said, very talented. And Cliff Godwin said that post game Sunday with Coach O. He said, a lot of people lost confidence in him after the first two starts against Bryant in North Carolina after they moved him to the pen. But he said nobody in this dugout lost confidence in him, and it showed. He's a competitor. He goes out there and he gives it his all every single time he takes the mound, and it definitely proved this past weekend.
No doubt about it. I know we got let's preview the games we got coming up real quick. Just a thumbnail sketch. Let's talk about we have Old Dominion tomorrow on the road, and then we have College of Charleston, right?
Correct. And Old Dominion sitting at 13-1 right now, so they will definitely be a tough one on Tuesday. I know Nick Logich is getting the start on Tuesday for us, and then College of Charleston. Former South Carolina head coach Chad Holbrook, now the head coach there. They're 9-7 at the moment, but with all these being road games, like we said, very big RPI opportunity this week and this weekend.
It's going to be exciting to see. And how can people listen to the games this weekend? If you give us a rundown that, and we'll get you. I know you got to get out of here to not only study for college, amazing, but also to get prepared. Final touches on the prep for ODU.
Yep, listen to our broadcast, 94.3 The Game locally on your FM dial in Greenville, and then the Varsity Network app will get you the game from wherever else you might be in the world.
All right, Scott, you and Coach O have great chemistry. You're doing a great job. Keep up the great work, and we'll look to talk to you guys this coming weekend.
Sounds good. Thank you guys for having me on.
All right. Have a great night. Talk
Yes,
to you
sir.
later. Bye-bye. All right. And we appreciate Scott coming on for sure. And Scott's awesome. Bubba, I appreciate him so much. He has studying to do. And I was telling him I can't imagine studying in the green room. And also he's doing a great job with the Pirates. Coach O is making the trip down to the College of Charleston, so you'll be able to hear him. And that'll be great. He's taking his wife down there. And I know that's a tough, you ask your wife, would you like to go to Charleston for the weekend? Yes, honey, I would. So I appreciate you, Scott, very much for all you do for the program. Want to remind everybody, Next Level Training Center is the place to go. My son and my daughter go there. My son just started back with baseball this past week. We finished up basketball. So we're going to get him in very soon to Next Level, where they work really hard. They've got a lot of great coaches, a great facility. If you don't believe me, just go to nextleveltc.com and sign your son or daughter up right now. Private lessons. They've got an amazing staff. Again, call them now, 252-756-NEXT. It's very easy, 252-756-NEXT. And we appreciate all that. And Bubba, I know that we have, I know you got to go, but we've got some great programming coming up. Of course, we'll have extra innings coming up after our College of Charleston series. We'll have that coming up. Plus, we also have, I think there might be a basketball coach. So we'll have, I'm sure, a show in there to talk about the new coach and see where our program is going basketball-wise. And I know that that's going to be entertaining. So we'll have that and much more, right?
Yeah, and before we briefly discuss some of those things, we of course need to get our pgxgloves.com
Yes.
player of the week, and PGX Gloves, owned and operated by Mark Minikazi, and they do a tremendous job with customized baseball gloves, batting gloves, wide receiver gloves, have some excellent swag. So go to pgxgloves.com and check them out today. When you're placing your order, use promo code ECU. So that's simple enough. Using that promo code ECU, you'll get 25% off your entire order. So give Mark Minikazi forth. They have some tremendous products. But going back to our pgxgloves.com player of the week, we mentioned JJC. What a tremendous year he is having. Jacob Jenkins Cowart, the product of Guilford County, right outside of Greensboro. I believe it's Southeast Guilford High School. JJC, the left-handed hitting 6'6" freshman, is now batting .422, and he was, I think, 19 RBIs in a week. Jacob Jenkins Cowart on his hot start to his freshman campaign. And then our pgxgloves.com pitcher of the week is now this was a simple choice. Not that you didn't have several pitchers pitch well for East Carolina a week ago, but one stood out among the rest, and that was certainly Garrett Saylor. Excellent, like Cliff Godwin said in his post-game remarks, to see Garrett, someone who's been with the program and invested so much, after having two rough starts to begin the year in that Friday night role. He had pitched well, pitched even better last week. In, I think it was 4 appearances, he went 9 innings, allowed just 2 runs, struck out 16, and did not walk a single batter. So what a week for Garrett Saylor, performance that earned him national honors. I'm trying to remember if it's collegiate baseball or D1 baseball, or maybe even multiple publications. He was a national player of the week by one of those reputable baseball publications. So congratulations to Garrett Saylor.
One of my favorites, and very, very glad to see him do well, as of course the Pirates too, but he's one that we knew. I didn't lose my faith in him, and I know we all knew that he had a lot of talent in him. And congratulations again to Cooch for he's doing very, very well, which we all knew he would for this year. Bubba, do you have anything before we go, my friend?
I'd say, stay tuned. Craig, I know some others were chiming in on Facebook and YouTube talking about our new basketball coach, University of Tennessee assistant Michael Schwartz, We really felt as though John Gilbert would go in that direction. It's been well documented, his ties to the University of Tennessee, first of all, and then obviously Rick Barnes, not only from Tennessee, but also from their Lenore Ryan days. So not surprised in the least bit that he turned to Michael Schwartz to be the next East Carolina basketball coach, and we'll share a lot more thoughts on the hiring of Mike Schwartz, and depending on the Board of Trustees' approval, that meeting will be on Wednesday. Can't recall the exact time right offhand, but there will be a meeting sometime on Wednesday. I believe it's Wednesday afternoon, where the Board of Trustees will go into a closed session to approve the contract and hiring of Michael Schwartz as the new East Carolina men's basketball coach. And then as far as baseball is concerned, like Scooter mentioned, on the road at Old Dominion tomorrow. Obviously, Old Dominion was one of the top 16 seeds a season ago, as they were down, kind of experienced the life that East Carolina experienced way back in 99 and 2000 when they were a number 1 seed and could not host due to facilities. That was the situation last year for ODU, going down to Columbia and hosting there at Founders Park, or whatever title sponsor they have now. But that will be an interesting quality midweek matchup. And then this weekend, College of Charleston's not where they once were. I think they're 9-7, and they had been swept by High Point, and High Point first-year head coach and really struggled. But you never know. You got to obviously take every game seriously. So the Pirates, under Coach Godwin, will do that, especially after what happened on opening weekend. Maybe some of the guys not necessarily taking Brian as seriously as they should in that first game. So I fully expect a solid week. 3-1, maybe even 4-0, and that would be nice to have that 4-0 week and get to 13-7 as conference play is drawing near.
No question about it. We're looking forward to it, and we'll see how the Pirates do. Again, our great show, Extra Innings, brought to you by Next Level Training Center, and you can just go to nextleveltc.com. Call them at 252-756-NEXT. And we want to give a shout out again to Trent and Gaynell Brett. Thank you for all that you do for not only our show, but all the kids in Pitt County and around the area and the region, if you will, because they do a lot of great work. And don't take my word for it. You can go and check it out yourself. All right, we'll get out of here. I want to thank Scott Rogers, the play-by-play voice of the ECU Baseball Pirates. Thank you, Scott. Good luck to the broadcast and good luck to the Pirates this week. And until next week, this has been Extra Innings, again brought to you by Next Level Training Center, right here on the Sports Objective. Good night, everybody, and always go Pirates.
That concludes this week's edition of Extra Innings, presented by Next Level Training Center on the Sports Objective. Join us next Sunday night as we will once again talk East Carolina Pirate baseball. Be sure to follow the show on social media at the Sports OBJ on Twitter, at the Sports Objective on Instagram. Like and follow our Facebook page and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Listen to the show pretty much anywhere podcasts are found. As always, we appreciate you tuning into the show. Go Pirates!